B&M Care was founded in 1975 by Bill Hughes and his wife Mary. The first care home was Clare Lodge in St Albans, and since then the company has grown and changed in many ways. Bill Hughes.
I started my life in an orphanage. Then I was fostered out to some family in North Galway, and I was there till I was in my mid-teens. At about 17, 18, I joined that exodus of Irish who all immigrated to various parts of the world. I ended up in Manchester, where it was the late in the year, and I spent that winter in a Dunlop factory making Wellingtons. In the spring of, I guess, about 1958, I then went into construction on a construction site where I worked, and from there then I decided to travel. I purchased a van along with two other guys. We lived out of suitcases for about, 2 years, working in various cities throughout the country. Finally arriving at Harlow Newtown, just outside of Epping Forest. And that was my first taste of London. I read an article in a local property magazine that there was a property for sale in St Albans, an old people's home, which rather interested me because I'd never heard of one before. I followed this up, and some 6 months later I actually took possession of Clare Lodge, which was our first residential home.
Clare Lodge in St Albans was licensed by the commissioning authorities for a fee of just £1, and care of the 10 residents living there was handed over to Bill Hughes. Success has been built on success, and now, more than 40 years on, B&M's growing portfolio provides top-quality residential and specialist dementia care for over 1,200 people. B&M Care has always been described as a family-run business for families. Bill Hughes is still very hands-on and is always available to offer personal support and guidance to his home managers. Bill Hughes' daughter, Dr. Colleen Wood, is a company director and clinical advisor to B&M Care, and his son Brendan plays a supportive role in a variety of IT and operations projects. Future generations of the Hughes family will no doubt play a part in the B&M story. The B&M family ethos is aimed firmly at the people who choose a B&M care home. The purpose is simple: to make every moment count for people living with a dementia and their families. The future of B&M Care is bright, with further homes planned in the coming years. But what of Bill Hughes? Where does he see the future?
I intend to take it a little bit easier now, sort of back off, allow Colleen and Brendan to develop themselves, give them more responsibility. My chief executive, Ian, has big plans for the next sort of half a dozen homes, and he has said that by 2020 we're going to have 30 homes. So that would appear to be the way it's headed.
Well, Mum's 94, coming up for 95, and she's been completely independent up until she came in here in last September. And basically she came from hospital to here and she hasn't looked back.
It's just like home. At the moment, better than home used to be, because it was
getting difficult, wasn't it? Yeah, it was getting
not
difficult.
Not your fault,
no. All the main staff talk to, they know me, I know them. The slightest, they know more about Mum than I do really now. It's great.
We all meet at meal time, and there's a lovely lounge if you want to sit in there. I can't grumble about anything.
Before Mum came into care, was living on a knife edge, or we were particularly mums of that age, mid-90s, what is the next move? What's going to happen? Where is she going to be within the next couple of years? We did have our doubts, but once I'd visited here, I had complete peace of mind. And it's really just taken the burden completely off our shoulders, and we've got a sense of well-being now, generally, and the most important thing is my mother is happy, she wants to be here.
Kate takes us for a walk. She's a volunteer, and she's lovely. When we walked right over the bridge the other day and into the park beyond, and walked around, then came back through Baldock Market. Lunch when we got back at just after 12. After lunch we come here maybe, or go to our room, or we have television in our rooms as well. And there's a kitchen just beside, so we can make a cup of tea and we all sit there and natter, which is lovely. I think everybody feels that they're safe within here, because there is always somebody around to check who does come through the door, and unless they know the number and how to press what to press, they probably can't get in anyway, and I think we feel totally secure with that.
And no matter what anybody else says to you, although I know he's looked after so well, it just came down to me, and I thought, this shouldn't be happening, he should be at home with me. But for both our sakes, because we were getting irritable with one another, I was tired, my kids were saying, you know, Mum, you've got to make, and then, yeah, because I knew it was the right decision, I knew, but still, unless you've been through it, you cannot totally explain it. But I am getting over that now, because I know he's quite content here, and they've always been absolutely brilliant. Always. That is the first thing I would always tell you about the place. They're absolutely lovely. We call it his hotel and his new family. That's what we call it.
Having been in the army, I thought, I don't want to go to those sort of places, institutionalised, if you like. And but my son said to me, give it a try, Dad. You just shut up in the house all day long, and, you know, we're worried about you. So I arrived here and it all started again. It was, you know, it's just a natural thing. It's home from home, put it that way. The food is good, and you go and have your own private room. And if you want to shut away, you can. It's not very often I shut away myself. You want to take a walk over the bridge, you can do. And Hilary and I went down to the town the other day. You know, you've got the freedom there. Some people are loners, and if they want to be alone, they can go and shut themselves in the room. Or you want to join the company, you can join the company here. Even going outside, you can sit down in the summer and meet somebody. My favourite spot is down the corner there by the garden. But you know, it's just an easy-going place. You can't fault it.
I love coming here because I've sort of met a whole load of new people and friends, and they always sort of come up and say what my mum's been doing. If my mum hasn't remembered what she's perhaps been doing the day before, I get all sorts of snippets of things, and I'm thrilled to bits with that, and they're just so warm and welcoming, and I really, we have no problems, do we? We love it here, don't we? It's smashing. We're both thrilled to bits with how things are going. When my mum was back at home, they had carers, but just during the day, because there was no room in their little bungalow to have a night care. And so I think the reassurance comes from the fact that my mum at night is cared for throughout the night. And if there's any problems, rings the bell and somebody will pop round and there'll be a hot drink, because you have a lot of lovely chats in the night to people, and sometimes I think elderly people want to sort of be reassured and just talk. If you're not sleepy, it's nice to have a chat.
In a way, I have a bit of upmanship being so old.
But the staff are so sweet. I mean, they're always eager. You can just walk past the office and they'll come and chat to you. They stop whatever they're doing just to sort of sort out the problem you might have with something. And I find that very, very comforting. And also they telephone me if there's any problems. And I ring occasionally to see how she is, if she's not been well, and then somebody will always go and find her or even take the phone to my mum. I'd love to, as most children would, probably be looking after their parent, but at my age I can't be around all day and all night.
I think home is a good word. It feels sort of safe, and you know, and I know that if I was in trouble or anything, they know where to go and what to do. You know, that I think that's about the best thing I could say.
Like a lot of people, I wouldn't say lied, but I said to Mum, can you just try this place out for 10 days? Because we've had various problems. Mum had been in hospital. Various things had happened at home, and I just felt we needed a respite. And in the back of my mind, I didn't have a plan B. So my plan A was to stay here, but we try. But what I was telling Mum is that we try it for a short period of time. And I'm sure lots of other people do that as well. It's a big decision to move somebody from a home they've lived in and fended for themselves, despite poor sight and hearing, for a long period of time. So you're suddenly taking them away from all that, an area they've lived and known and grown up in. You know, this place is a purpose-built building with, I think, very good staff. And there's always somebody making sure she's fed, medicines. And an important part of it is the entertainment as well, so the activities. We've got a very, very enthusiastic activity team now here. We've got a new lady just joined. So your big fear is not knowing where you are and being
yes, not knowing where I am.
So that's an important thing. So I've got to trust people.
I've got a shocking sense of direction. I always have had. But
Sue's pretty good at noting our concerns and puts an action plan together. Yeah, I think on the whole that's worked out reasonably well.
Yeah, one aspect last year was advertised was a virtual dementia tour, as it was called, and that was open to relatives. And my wife and I came along one Saturday morning. I think it was about 2 or 3 hours in total, and it was very enlightening, shall we say. It gave you aspects on what a resident with dementia would experience, how they react to people touching them, how they forget their names constantly. The one thing I noticed, we did the tour in a sort of a darkened environment, and they give you insoles to put in your shoes to make your feet feel prickly when you walk. And that apparently is quite a classic side effect for somebody with dementia. As a consequence of the guy's training, I went out and bought my mum some softer soled shoes. It was quite apparent the difference it made, and that was as a result of that training. Not long after I'd been here, it was advertised and mentioned about whether we should have a relatives group or forum, and I've been to every one of those meetings, and we hold those probably once every 6 weeks to 12 weeks, depending on people's diaries. And we've raised a number of issues, and because this home was quite new, there were a lot of little teething issues that we highlighted and have been rectified. So as a part of that, our forum, we feel we've got a voice in the running of the home in certain aspects, and that's been really quite rewarding. So I know and feel comfortable that if there's an issue, it will be looked at, and it's always looked at very promptly. I have to give my due to the manager here in that aspect.
I went through quite a few emotions, obviously guilty, thinking that I've got to find a care home for Mum, because we did think about whether she could come and live with us, but in the end we decided a care home was the best thing. I mean, I liked the place straight away and I felt very comfortable with it. I liked it and I liked the staff, but gradually I didn't have the guilt when I left here. You know, you do to start with, but it gradually wears off. You know, and there's always things going on. You know, they're playing games. They've just been playing Scrabble. They have outings. You know, so there's lots of things going on. And there's always, you know, in between the meals, there's the coffee and the afternoon tea. So there's always people that she's mixing with.
If you want to join in anything, there's always something to do. If you want to prefer to be on your own, nobody worries you. They just check every so often and say, "Are you okay?" You know, so it's your decision what you want to do. Nobody pressures you to do anything. I think knowing that when I shut my door, I'm not alone, because there's always someone close by. You've got a button you can press if you need it, urgent. Get checked on occasionally, you know, somebody open the door, just say, "Everything all right?" "Yes, thank you." That's fine. If you don't want to see anybody or want to go to bed early, that's fine. You just say, "I'm tired, I need an early night." So nobody will worry you, but they know that you're on the end of a button, you know, so I feel confident here, knowing that the staff are there if I need them. Thank you.
The way we recruit staff at B&M is a little different. We ask more value-based questions in an interview because we're looking for somebody who's got a caring nature. We can tell straight away when someone walks into that room whether or not they are going to be suitable to be a carer at B&M Care. We have a very big induction programme so we can train them the skills that they need, but we want somebody that's going to make a difference to our residents' lives, that's got that special something about them that's going to brighten up our residents' day.
What we do as engagement leads is that not only do we organize engagement in terms of events and activities in the home, but we also ensure quality engagement takes place. For example, we have access to our minibus, and before those trips we get with all the residents and we find out what sort of places they would like to see. And not only do we have access to a minibus, we have our own car. And that is wonderful because they can go out on errands or for a cup of coffee or even just going to the grocery store to have a little shop around, because that's what they used to do. So, you know, why not continue to do it? In terms of activities, it's getting people mobile, getting the oxygen going everywhere and, you know, in the muscles in the brain. And we do a bit of strength building exercises. And it's always a fun time because they are in such a great mood. And the humor comes out as we're doing the exercises. So some of the wisecracks that come out, or, you know, it's just a wonderful affair for them.
B&M is a centre of knowledge. We undertake lots of different training to ensure that we bring excellence in care. We are the go-to place for the community, so we can give advice whether it's regarding residential care, dementia care, fees, anything in the care sector. We want to give something back to the community. We do this through memory cafes, we have seminars which discuss things through to dementia, to the cost of fees for somebody living in care. The memory cafe is a fantastic idea. It lets people come in, it gives them an hour or two respite, but the most important thing is the support that they get from one another and from also our dementia champions who are there throughout to give any advice that we can.
every time I come in the mornings, I have got my list of tasks to do, and all the checks and things I've got to do. But that can change by just walking in, and then it's a nice day, and we'll go for a walk somewhere, or we'll come out into the garden or sweep up some of the leaves, and then by the end of the day, sometimes I haven't done my tasks. And I've still, but everyone's gone away happy. It's a lovely place to work for, and I think all the residents love it here as well.
It's not just a job. It's not a 9 till 5. It becomes your lifestyle. Everything becomes about the people that you work with. And I'm not saying just the people who reside at the home. It's about the team as well. I feel it's really important to make sure that your team is happy. Every single staff member. I love to see the fact that when they come into the home through the front door, they come here because they want to, not because they have to. When the new member of staff comes in to join our team, I always say, just remember, when you enter the home, you enter this person's home. Remember to smile, because although you may have been working here yesterday, you've done your duties yesterday, this person most likely does not remember that you have been here yesterday and you are a complete stranger. And simple smile on your face, gentle approach can reassure them and make them feel safe, secure in the environment. It's a very simple thing that can make a huge difference to a person who lives with dementia. The community is equally important to us. What we find really does work is connecting with the local community, be it a local school, a library, local choirs that we have coming in, local club of ladies who are knitting. I think it's important for them to know, especially when it comes to dementia, it raises awareness for the people out there in the community that actually dementia isn't that scary. You can learn how to communicate with people, and by them actually coming in to our events and engaging with our residents, not only the residents benefit but also the members of the community benefit.
What I believe makes a good carer is somebody that comes into work wearing their heart on their sleeve, knowing that the day can hold anything, and being prepared to put a smile on people's faces and to assist them in the day-to-day living to keep their independence for as long as possible. I think that you have to have good connection with the way that you speak to people. You have to have respect and empathy, and the way you treat them, you get so much out of it back for yourself. I started here as a care assistant, and I was promoted within a couple of months to a senior care assistant. There is a management development pathway course that I'm hoping to join next year, and I hope that that helps me get to where I want to be. That is my dream, to be a care home manager for a B&M home.
Our person-centred model of care is taking things back to basics, and that is about involving the resident. The resident is the heart of all the care we offer. It is so individualised, and it's about making that person happy and about finding out what makes that person happy. I want people to carry on living instead of just being. The whole purpose of me being within this building and looking after the people that I'm fortunate enough to look after is to make them smile. I want them to continue to lead their lives. I want them to continue to enjoy their lives and have many more moments and smiles and happy days as they have in the past.
With our training, we try and involve residents and relatives as well. So we've had residents that have actually sat in on training courses and actually listened to what the staff are being told and advised to do, so that they understand why we do certain things. And we've also had staff developing themselves with MVQ training and additional learning, and the residents have been part of that as well. And as a care home manager, my aim is to know that each resident here is valued, and to know that they feel safe, they feel loved and they feel supported. Our residents are the ones that give structure to our day. We're not task-led, we're not task-orientated. We go with the residents and what they want and what they need at that time, and that is the most important thing in our day. A good example of this is we have one resident who is a foreman and likes to know that jobs are being done to how he would like them done and that things are being done properly. He helps our maintenance team to check the stair lifts weekly, walkie-talkies, checking the batteries and things. He has his clipboard, and to him, he's involved. He's involved in the home that he's living in, and it makes him happy. We have one resident who used to keep birds when he lived at home, and we're fortunate enough to have a budgie that lives here, and he makes a point of coming down each day. He feeds the budgie, has a little chat with him, cleans out the bottom of the tray and makes sure he's okay. He's like his carer, and it gives him something to get up for in the morning, and he comes down and he wants to see his little mates okay, and it gives him purpose, and that is what he enjoys, and we need to encourage that.
It's just like home.
It's not just a job. It's not a 9 till 5. It becomes your lifestyle.
Knowing that when I shut my door, I'm not alone.
So I arrived here and it all started again.
It's really just taken the burden completely off our shoulders.
I want people to carry on living instead of just being.
We call it his hotel and his new family. That's what we call it.
The most important thing is my mother is happy, she wants to be here.
Thank you.